So as you can see, there's a stall, horse stalls all over, and you see a window in the stall. It's like a backwards drive-through window, and you feed the horses hay through that window. And except for the barn guys get fed right over the rail here. Usually not a problem. And inside those stalls to the windows are these feeders. You get the hay in there. If we have alfalfa that's packed tight enough to where, hey kitty, you put in your 2 cents worth. So it's packed in tight enough. Lubby-doo. Yeah. Alfalfa hay is packed tight enough where you can just grab each flake and carry them from the your side-by-side dump bed, whatever. Just fine. We got some grass hay that falls apart in your hand, each flake, and it gets all over the place. Started using a bucket. It was pretty difficult to deal with, especially the bucket didn't really fit through the window. So I thought, well, what if a bucket had a handle at the bottom, but the bucket was narrow enough to fit through the window, and just put a flake of hay in there and then carry it from the cow to your side-by-side or whatever, wheelbarrow, and carry it to the window and deposit it right in. So I actually made this. Here it is, a bucket. Basically, it's basically a bucket. This is handle, well, retroed handle. I didn't realize till later it's a good place for a handle. So this is an existing box. I mean, it comes in this dimension. It's wider and taller, but I just cut it down and then, you know, made an edge out of it. This is, I believe, yeah, this is the first one I made. Inside here is 1 millimeter thick sheet of aluminum, 2 holes drilled through it, and then it's all recycled. Well, except for the box and this packing tape, this is all recycled material. This is scrap material from work. I put that on a vise, and it's got threaded ends. Got a nuts there to stop it. There's another aluminum plate here, 1 millimeter thick, cut to fit here. So this plate and the other plate inside is sandwiching the cardboard box. And this is kind of just a little prototype job, and if you go through the window, actually, you want that handle towards you. You stuff it. Oh look, another cat. So what you do, here's the Kawasaki side-by-side dump bed. You pull up to each window, and I'll usually have that about right there, and bring a flake around here and put it all the loose crap. If you cram this is a big one here. If you cram this so far, you know you got somewhere around a flake or more of hay. Each horse usually gets a flake. Pack that puppy, come up to the feeder, come through the window, and boom, right there. Just like that. You gotta shake it sometimes to get that hay. Sometimes I don't know if it's a vacuum effect. Sometimes it get lodged in there. And you just gotta shake it down there, which can be a problem because you keep doing that day in, day out. You'll rip your shoulders apart, or your shoulder. Here's a very poor example of a existing red tote that I made one of those out of these. This one's horrible. It wasn't big enough. There's the handle there. There's another handle cut in. Kitty cat. This one's pretty big. It barely fit through some of those windows. So the next one I made was a little smaller. Kind of retroed some Gorilla Tape on the edge handle there, the opening handle. Same thing, same construction. 2mm thick aluminum sheeting inside. The only difference with this one is smaller, and you can see it, nuts in there, and it's sandwiching. The 2mm thick aluminum sheets are sandwiched. You can actually see the shape of the plate in there, kind of. So it's a little smaller, fits in the window better, and I covered this with not only the brown packing tape, the clear packing tape as well. As you can see, this is peeling. Odd thing is, I made these two completely apart, separate of each other, and they'll both perfectly fit inside one another. I'm going to stow them away. Get it in there. Goes right in every time, unless you're filming. There it is. So the problem with these is, kind of knew they weren't going to be able to last like through a winter, because these can't get wet. It's basically cardboard. This one may, well, no, because this one got wet here. See, it's this probably won't make it through winter unless I put some other. I might line it with some white strand tape. I don't know. Might be able to resurrect that. Then I found a polycarbonate enclosure. Polycarbonate plastic is well, it used to be one of the strongest plastics on earth. They got some new stuff now, but I used to work in plastic injection molding, so I know a lot about polycarbonate. It's so at work I found a enclosure that matched these dimensions, but it's kind of went wild with this. I made some vent holes, also you can see if the hay's gone out. Kind of does a syringe effect. Sometimes the hay will just lodge itself in if you pack it in there too tight. Most of the time it'll just slide right out. But and then some plastic, corrugated plastic. All recycled materials. Everything is stuff that was going to be scrapped at my work. Did all these holes in displacement. I cut out, let's see, this is the bottom. Cut this all out, removed all that because this thing was heavy as hell. And then I took about an inch off of this rim here. This thing was super heavy. You got to be able to do this every single day, 24 times a day. Well, doing 12 horses right now. You know, I thought this was pretty cool. It's flawed because I'm going to redesign this and redo it. I didn't need no plates for this because the polycarbonate was plenty strong on its own. All I needed was this stuff. You can shoot this with birdshot with 12 gauge shotgun at a certain distance, and it's bulletproof. Polycarbonate plastic. It's amazing stuff. Very light, extremely strong. That's why I kind of wanted to do this. But this one is failing because I got too much. This needs to be widened open. I guess I could run it outside here. And, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's on the back burner for now. I thought it was kind of cool looking, with all the holes. Then I stumbled upon this bad boy, or the idea of this. This is it right here. This is the dude. This is the dude. I just created this bad boy last week. It's got again, it's got the same thing. It's same thing as those two. Same box. It's a box we have worked. It's the only new thing I've used besides the tape. Everything else is recycled materials. We got tons, literal tons of this. And you can see the aluminum 1mm thick. It's probably a millimeter, maybe a millimeter 0.5 thickness. Same thing inside. I wanted to leave the aluminum kind of exposed so that it looked pretty cool, but this time instead of the first two with just only sandwiching here, I went ahead and put 4 points of block down there. Here. And the difference here also is I built the shit out of this thing, excuse my language, with this white tape, this white fiber twine tape. It's super duper strong. It's I guess it's bulletproof, I don't know, or not bulletproof, sort of water resistant. I got it, sprayed it out earlier today, I got it wet, but I ran about 10 12 passes around this whole rim to make sure this handle was going to fail. I ran a bunch of tape, as you can see, this over and over, and built up this, oh yeah, you can see it here, and built up this rim here for hours and hours and days of you know, working that handle. I was looking down here, and I was like, I need to put some type of vent, but not only a vent to keep from, you know, it's syringing on me and hay getting lodged in there. It's pretty big too, so I shouldn't have too many problems. I like to pack them because when you pack it, you know how much you're feeding the horse. So I was noticing here that the aluminum ends here and here. So both ends here were, I thought, boy, if I just bust that whole thing open, I can have a vent, and I can shove, if I have to, I can shove my hand through there if there's some stubborn hay that doesn't want to fall out. So I cut it out, and then I almost was just going to leave it just open, because you could put hay in there, and you might spill some around. And then I thought, just make a trap door. And it works pretty darn good. Made a door stop here, so that way it always wants to shut. And the only time it doesn't want to shut is when you're so if you're feeding. You're gonna feed, you got a whole thing of hay, and then you feed. You go in the feed, and that door opens, and you can actually, I discovered that not only is it a reach through if you need it, you're not going to usually not going to need it. It vents, that lets the hay vent out as air's being pulled into the thing as the hay's falling out, and also it also gives you a confirmation that your hay is deployed into the feeder. So you come around here. Usually use two hands. You get your other hand on the handle. Come up over, and boom. And it's lightning quick. You don't have a mess. And pretty darn happy with this thing. This was kind of hard on this one here because these other ones kind of blew it on these. These are sinking into the cardboard. Well, no, not in the cardboard. It's actually against that aluminum plate, but it's kind of wanted to do a little bit better. These are, if you know anything about coax cable, this is 400. This is for 400 coax cable. These are crimp sleeves, and I had a hell of a time getting something to stay there aside from welding something on there, because everything wanted to slip past here. I needed to stop. So I took a crimp sleeve for 400 cable, I put one inside there, smashed it in there, crimped it, and kind of looked horrible. So I was able to shove a second one over. Of course, the edges were kind of sharp, so I filed it, and one, it kind of looks cool actually. It's going to give a joy. One's brass and one's copper. I don't know if it's nickel plated. So I think I've come up with the master design for this, and that is the my invention. I call it the auto feeder. Very quick, very clean. You don't have hay spilt all over the place. You want your ranch kept looking sharp. It's expected that this place is absolutely kept immaculate. for these guys. And that is the auto feeder.